Temu is by far one of the scummiest companies in the world. Between false advertising, invasive collection of user data, evading taxes, using forced labor, and much more, Temu has proven it will do anything to take over the US market. From its meteoric rise seemingly out of nowhere to all of the illegal loopholes they used to blow up, the tale of Temu is something we have never seen before. So what exactly have they done, and how are they getting away with it? To answer that question, we need to look at how Temu became so popular in the first place. Now, I can almost guarantee that most of you have been bombarded with Temu ads on social media and TV throughout the past year, and that's by design. When Temu was founded in July of 2022, its main objective to get the ball rolling was to break into the ultra-competitive US e-commerce market. They did so by spending $1.4 billion on marketing, starting with a $14 million Super Bowl ad and following up with countless ads on social media, and I mean countless. They ran over 8,900 ads across Meta's various platforms just in January of 2023, and it's safe to assume they ran the same or even more ads on TikTok. Speaking of TikTok, Temu also spent millions of dollars on working with over 1,500 influencers, who in total mentioned Temu in over 3,700 posts. However, any company can just dump money into advertising and pray that it works. So what else makes Temu so special? Of course, the answer to that is their prices. Their unique and intense shopping experience floods you with unbeatable deals for almost anything you can think of. Need a pair of shoes for your kids? How about these for $1.25? Maybe you need to clean your keyboard? Well, you can for just 22 cents. Or how about listening to music on these wireless earbuds for $3.48? These insane prices, coupled with endless promotions and discounts, makes Temu irresistible for price-conscious consumers, especially during times of high inflation. In addition to these deals, Temu makes it as easy as possible for customers to get into the habit of spending through their referral program. Similar to a pyramid scheme, the program rewards users for getting their friends and family to download the app. The more people someone brings to the app, the more shopping credits they earn, which can amount to hundreds of dollars worth of free items. Customers can also earn free items through games built directly into the Temu app. These simple, addictive, and rewarding games offer users the opportunity to pick items they want and get them at no cost for completing these games, most of which can only be completed by, you guessed it, inviting users to the app. By targeting customers who want the best bang for their buck and luring them in through their addictive referral program, games, and more, Temu has rapidly become the go-to shopping app for millions of people in the US. Their app has been downloaded over 100 million times and has consistently ranked in the top charts in both the Google Play and App Store since December of 2022. Beyond that, Temu is expected to generate $16 billion in revenue in 2023, and their social media boasts hundreds of thousands of followers across all platforms. Quite frankly, it's impressive how Temu was able to find a winning strategy, step into a fiercely competitive e-commerce landscape, and immediately become a threat to competitors like Amazon, Etsy, and eBay. However, you may be wondering how Temu can do all of this. I mean, it seems impossible for a company to give away countless free items, offer these ridiculous prices, and still be able to turn a profit, right? Well, that's because it is impossible. Over the 17 months Temu has been in business, they have never made a single penny of profit. Instead, they've lost hundreds of millions of dollars to expand their market share in the US, and while doing so, they have committed crime after crime to stay on top. But first, it would be wrong to blow over how Temu operates, because admittedly, it is pretty genius. In simple terms, Temu sells and ships goods directly from Chinese manufacturers to customers, cutting out the middleman that would typically raise prices. Now, the strategy isn't new, as many other Chinese companies like AliExpress and Alibaba operate in the same factory-to-consumer model. But what Temu has done differently to beat those guys out is take a page out of Amazon's playbook and sell items at a loss. On purpose. Back when Amazon was just an online bookstore, they would sell books at super cheap prices to build a customer base, and when that base was established, they slowly raised their prices until they were making money. Temu is doing the same thing here, but instead of just books, they sell everything at a loss. On average, Temu loses $30 per order, and since it began, it's estimated that they've lost between $500 million and $1 billion to run its operation. Of course, this way of doing business isn't sustainable in the long run, but it's working exactly how Temu planned it. They're attracting millions of loyal customers by offering them cheap or even free items, and when they feel their customer base is big enough, they'll raise prices or maybe stop offering free shipping or something of the sort. Now, the truth is, I haven't told you guys every way Temu keeps their prices low. Yes, they intentionally sell at a loss and innately have low prices because their products are straight from China. But the other thing they do is a lot more frowned upon. So usually when companies want to sell items made overseas into the US, they have to pay an import tax if the value of their shipment exceeds $800. Big companies like Gap and H&M have had to pay millions in taxes because of this law. But Temu, who ships hundreds of thousands of packages a day, I might add, has paid exactly $0. It seems like a serious crime, and it definitely should be, but they can get away with this because of that $800 limit I mentioned previously. Instead of shipping items in bulk, like Gap and H&M, Temu ships singular packages directly to Americans, which are never above an $800 value and therefore aren't taxed. If hearing that rubs you the wrong way, then you wouldn't be the first. The de minimis rule of the Tariff Act of 1930, which is where that $800 number comes from, has been ridiculed by many organizations who are pissed at companies like Temu who exploit this rule and are able to evade hundreds of millions in taxes. These orgs have advocated for the threshold to be lowered to $10, but as of right now, Temu is still able to save boatloads of money by not being taxed. It couldn't be more clear by now that Temu is all about cutting costs, getting customers hooked on their app, and hoping to eventually conquer the US. But you can't do that if your products suck. And according to thousands of complaints from customers, Temu's products do in fact suck. But it's not just their products. The Better Business Bureau, which is essentially the Bible for business reviews, has received over 1,500 complaints about seemingly every aspect of Temu's business. Everything from poor product quality to shipping delays, undelivered packages, mysterious charges, incorrect orders, and unresponsive customer service have been mentioned in multiple reviews for Temu. These complaints have accumulated into a measly 2.49 star and C+ rating for the company, which apparently was so bad that the BBB themselves said it was unusual for such a new company to receive so many complaints in such a short amount of time. However, the BBB has more significant concerns than Temu's product quality, shipping delays, or anything like that. That's because they've received a substantial amount of complaints surrounding the company's privacy policy for user data. And all of these frightened customers are completely right for bringing this up. Temu's parent company, PDD Holdings, has had a history of breaking multiple user data protection laws and being super invasive regarding what data they collect. See, before Temu was even a thing, PDD operated another cheap shopping app called Pinduoduo. The app was essentially a Chinese version of Temu, where customers were offered unbeatable prices, countless deals, and fun ways to earn free items. But what the public didn't know was that Pinduoduo was collecting essentially every piece of data from your phone and using it for economic gain. In 2020, Pinduoduo set up a team of about 100 engineers to dig for vulnerabilities in Android phones, develop ways to exploit them, and turn that into a profit. The team found 50 Android system vulnerabilities and exploited them to gain access to user data way beyond what's legal. They had access to everything from your contacts, calendars, photo albums, social media accounts, private text, and location. Beyond that, they could also change system settings, monitor users' activity on other shopping apps, change notification settings, and more. In other words, they had access to literally everything on your phone without your consent, and they were using this access to spy on users and competitors while also improving their machine learning model to offer more personalized push notifications and ads to boost sales. Collecting user data is normal nowadays, but Pinduoduo took it way beyond what's acceptable, enough for Google to eventually ban the app from their store. So what does this have to do with Temu? The company says that all of their data is encrypted, and there hasn't been any malicious malware found on their app like there was on Pinduoduo. Well, it's simple. The US hates when China has American data. Although Temu says they protect user data, they still collect a trough of information, like your name, phone number, social media photos and profiles, social security number, birthday, address, both home and IP, and more. PDD's crimes with Pinduoduo cast a shadow over Temu and have made government officials weary of what Temu could be doing with that data, especially considering PDD's ties to China. And it's not just Temu that the US is worried about. Essentially, any Chinese-owned app nowadays faces faces intense scrutiny in the US over security concerns. For example, Western governments have been trying to ban TikTok for years, and other apps like Shein and now Temu are being lumped together as one massive threat to national security. They believe these apps could be vulnerable to data privacy breaches or interference from the Chinese government, and they're scared that if Temu gets big enough, China will have too much data on American users and be able to harm the US through intelligence gathering. So obviously, none of that sounds great for Temu, considering that their primary goal as a company is to take over the US e-commerce market. But technically speaking, it has been proven that they're sharing data with the Chinese government or acting with malicious intent with their data collection. So is it wrong to point fingers at Temu this early? Maybe, maybe not. However, there is one thing that Temu takes part in that is so bad that the US and China both agree should be put to an end: forced labor. In 2021, the US Congress enacted the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, or UFLPA. The act banned all imports from China's Xinjiang region after mounting evidence proved that forced labor was prevalent there. But it seems like Temu doesn't mind selling items from the region at all. An investigation by the US Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party revealed that Temu has failed to, quote, maintain even the facade of a meaningful compliance program with the UFLPA. Instead of putting in some sort of system to prevent it, they entirely dodge responsibility for forced labor items being sold on Temu by putting the responsibility on their customers. Temu expects them to report items that violate the UFLPA, even though listings on Temu don't provide nearly enough information about the product's materials or manufacturer for shoppers to identify items that violate the rules. And even if there was enough info to do so, it's ridiculous for them to put that responsibility on their customers. But the company thinks that's a-okay. Temu admitted to the US committee that it does not prohibit third-party sellers from selling products based on their origin in the Xinjiang region. But they're in the clear because Temu is not the importer of record with the respect to goods shipped to the United States. Basically, they're pulling the same loophole BS they do with the Tariff Act of 1930. Because Temu technically doesn't make the products they sell, they don't have to worry about being scrutinized for violating the UFLPA. And so, Temu's unwillingness to prevent selling forced labor goods has led to Xinjiang-made sunglasses, sandals, rings, wall paneling, rice storage containers, and much more being offered on their website. With the help of addictive rewards, a horrible reputation, tax evasion, forced labor, suspicious data collection, and more, Temu has been and is continuing to be successful in the US. Who knows where they will be in the future, but for now, it's clear they're not going anywhere and will continue to do whatever it takes to win over America.